He is an engineer who comes to fix the portal, but exposes a genetic conspiracy. A spark in the void bound two souls across time, defying the cold logic of stars. In the shadow of a crumbling sun, one engineer's touch would unravel a galaxy's secrets. The Aetherion carved through the Elara meteor belt, a 500,000-kilometer maze of jagged asteroids orbiting a dying red giant. Kai Morran, a 28-year-old Mercury-Earth hybrid, gripped the controls. His sharp features and close-cropped dark hair caught the glow of the console. His gray Alliance jumpsuit clung to a frame hardened by years in high-radiation labs, where his hybrid physiology thrived against heat and cosmic rays. The ship's laser defenses snapped to life, slicing through tumbling rocks with pinpoint bursts. Each shot illuminated the debris field, a chaotic fortress guarding the Alliance's secrets. Kai's mission pulsed in his mind. Replace the teleportation energy core, a 10-meter crystal powering faster than light jumps across 12 star systems. Failure meant severed supply lines, stranded fleets. The Aetherion docked with a metallic clang at Elara's central station. Kai stepped from the airlock, toolkit slung over his shoulder. Conduits glowed along the chamber walls, their hum mixing with holographic readouts flickering like restless ghosts. The air carried a metallic tang, the station's lifeblood strained by constant asteroid impacts. A figure emerged from the shadows. Serenya Voss, Luminaris Warrior-Diplomat, moved with lethal grace. Her metallic skin shimmered, reflecting the chamber's light. Golden eyes glowed faintly, sharp with suspicion. Her diplomat's armor, etched with alien runes, hugged her form, blending elegance with combat readiness. She demanded Kai's aidentship, her posture rigid. Recent alliance leaks had bred distrust, and a hybrid engineer raised red flags. Kai handed it over, his calm belying the tension. She scanned it, her gaze lingering, but gestured to a sealed hatch. They moved together, boots echoing in the groaning corridors. The core chamber loomed, vast and sterile. The crystal hovered in an anti-grav field, its faint pulse the heartbeat of interstellar travel. Kai unpacked his tools, wrist-mounted AI whirring as it scanned the system. Serenya stood watch, her 2-meter plasma lance dormant but ready, its coils gleaming with latent energy. Kai aligned the replacement core, a twin to the original, and slotted it into place. Contacts clicked, power surged. A resonant light erupted, bathing the room in ethereal blue. It pulsed in sync with Serenya's skin, her bioluminescence flaring in rhythm like a living echo. She stumbled back, eyes wide. The light wasn't random. It was soul harmony, a Luminaris phenomenon tying two beings in a sacred, lifelong bond. Kai checked his AI, frowning. The readings showed no anomalies, just a stable system. He dismissed her claim as a cultural myth, perhaps a quirk of his hybrid genetics interfering with the core's frequency. Serenya's hand tightened on her lance, her voice sharp with accusation. But before she could press, alarms shattered the moment. Red lights flashed. Proximity sensors screamed of incoming ships. Kai's fingers flew over the console, recalibrating the station's defenses. Shields hummed to life, drawing power from the new core. Serenya activated her lance, its energy coils glowing hot. She positioned herself at a tactical console, scanning the void. Shadows flickered beyond the viewports, vessels uncloaking amid the asteroids. Kai diverted power to the turrets, his AI locking targets. Laser salvos lit the belt, striking the lead ship in a burst of sparks. The attackers didn't respond to hails, their silence a grim promise. The station shuddered. An explosion tore through the outer hull, sending tremors through the deck. Kai sealed the core chamber, his mind racing through protocols. The new crystal stabilized, its hum steady despite the chaos. Serenya's lance snapped to full power, her stance unyielding. The attackers were time hunters, led by Ambra Vale, their motives tied to the station's deeper secrets. Kai grabbed a pulse pistol from a locker, its weight unfamiliar but grounding. He wasn't trained for combat, but retreat wasn't an option. They sprinted to the command deck, dodging sparks from overloaded conduits. Viewports revealed the enemy fleet, 30 warships, their hulls sleek and scarred, cloaking tech fading as they tightened their grip. Kai hacked the turret grid, firing in controlled bursts. Serenya launched a countermeasure drone, its path weaving through the belt to draw enemy fire. The station's shields flickered under temporal disruptors, weapons that warped gravity itself. Kai rerouted power, stabilizing the field for now. Another blast rocked the structure. Debris clattered against the hull, a relentless drumbeat. Kai rigged a welding torch to seal a breach, sparks flying in low gravity. Serenya stood guard, her lance carving through a stray drone that breached the perimeter. Its wreckage spun into the void. Kai's AI triggered an EMP pulse, disabling a swarm of enemy drones. They drifted lifeless, but the flagship loomed closer, its cannons charging with a sickly glow. Serenya's eyes met Kai's, the resonance still faintly visible in her skin. No time for rituals or arguments. The station tilted, alarms urging evacuation. Kai's mind flashed to his father's old research, vague mentions of harmonies and experiments. He pushed the thought aside. Survival came first. They braced against a bulkhead as the flagship, the Chronovore, deployed more drones. The belt itself seemed to tighten around them, asteroids shifting under the enemy's distortions. Kai overrode the evacuation protocol, locking the station's systems to buy time. Serenya's lance hummed, her resolve a mirror to his own. The Time Hunters wanted something buried deep in Elara, and the core's activation was no coincidence. The battle ignited, a storm of light and metal in the endless void. The Elara station groaned under the assault, its hull battered by unseen forces. 30 warships, cloaked in sleek, predatory designs, materialized fully from the asteroid belt's shadows. Ambra Vale's Time Hunters had struck, their temporal disruptors rippling space, distorting gravity in waves that sent consoles sparking. Kai Morran crouched behind a command deck panel, his pulse pistol warm in his grip. His wrist-mounted AI flickered, calculating trajectories as the station tilted. Serenya Voss stood at a viewport, her plasma lance glowing, its 2-meter shaft humming with barely contained energy. Her metallic skin reflected the red alert lights, her golden eyes scanning the enemy formation. Explosions rocked the corridors, bulkheads buckled, forcing Kai and Serenya to sprint through collapsing passages. Kai's AI projected a holographic map, guiding them to a secondary control hub. He hacked emergency seals, slamming durasteel doors shut behind them. Sparks flew as a temporal blast grazed the hull, warping the air with a low hum. Serenya moved like a blade, her diplomat's armor deflecting shrapnel. She spun her lance, slicing through a stray drone that breached the corridor, its circuits frying in a burst of light. They reached the hub, a cramped room lined with flickering screens. Kai patched into the station's grid, rerouting power to a secondary shield. The barrier flickered to life, absorbing a barrage of disruptor fire. Serenya manned a tactical console, her fingers dancing over controls. "They're after the Caelum Core," she said, voice steady despite the chaos. "A time manipulation device hidden deep in Elara. Ambra wants to freeze this planet in a loop, control the Alliance's teleportation network." Kai's mind raced. The Caelum Core, a 100-meter-tall machine, was no myth. Its existence was classified, but his father's old research hinted at its power. He tapped his AI, pulling schematics. "We need to reach it before they do." The station shook again, gravity fluctuating. Serenya pointed to a service tunnel. They dove in, crawling through tight, conduit-lined passages. The air grew hot, thick with ozone. A squad of 6 Time Hunters ambushed them at the tunnel's end. Their kinetic shields shimmered, absorbing standard projectiles. Serenya charged, her lance carving precise arcs. Energy bursts overloaded the shields, sending two soldiers sprawling, armor scorched. Kai fired his pulse pistol, aiming for joints in their suits. One hunter lunged, a chronoblade flickering with temporal distortion. Serenya parried, her lance clashing in a shower of sparks. The remaining hunters fell back, their comms crackling with retreat orders. Kai spotted a hollow projector on the floor, dropped by a hunter. He activated it, and a grainy image of Dr. Elias Morran, his father, flickered to life. "The soul harmony is no accident," the message said. "It's the key to the harmonic pair project." The recording cut off as another explosion rocked the hub. Kai's jaw tightened. His father, missing for years, had left clues tied to the core, and to him. Serenya grabbed his arm. "Your hybrid tricks triggered this attack. Explain." Her tone was sharp, her bioluminescence flaring with distrust. Kai shook his head. No time for debate. The station's core chamber was 3 levels down, and the time hunters were closing in. They sprinted through a maintenance bay, dodging falling debris. Kai's AI warned of a hull breach. He sealed it with a quick hack, but the station's integrity was failing. They reached a platform overlooking the asteroid belt. Below, Amber's flagship, the Chronovore, loomed, its angular hull bristling with cannons. Drones poured from its bays, locking Elara's orbit in a tightening net. Kai spotted a maintenance skiff docked nearby, its hull dented but functional. They leaped aboard, Serenya covering their rear as a drone swarm descended. Her lance fired controlled bursts, downing 3 drones in rapid succession. Kai powered the skiff, its engines roaring to life. The platform buckled, metal twisting under a disruptor blast. Kai gunned the thrusters, launching them into the belt. Asteroids loomed, some as large as city blocks. The skiff's sensors blared, warning of incoming fire. Serenya manned the pulse cannon, her shots precise, shattering drones into fragments that spun into the void. Kai's AI projected a path, but the Chronovore's drones were relentless, their ion nets grazing the skiff's hull. A moment of silence fell as they cleared the immediate threat. Serenya's gaze fixed on Kai. "The soul harmony complicates this. My people would demand we bond now." Her voice was low, conflicted. Kai kept his eyes on the controls. "We've got bigger problems, like surviving." The skiff shuddered, a temporal shock wave rippling through the belt. Kai's AI flagged the source, the Caelum Core, activating deep within Elara. Lights flickered on the console, warning of spatial distortions. The time hunters were closer to their prize than Kai had feared. He banked the skiff hard, dodging a 10-ton asteroid. Serenya braced, her lance ready, as the Chronovore's silhouette grew larger in the viewport. Kai's mind flashed to his father's message. Harmonic pair. Soul harmony. Engineered, not fated. The pieces didn't fit yet, but the answers lay in the core. He pushed the skiff faster, the belt a deadly gauntlet around them. Serenya's bioluminescence pulsed faintly, a reminder of the bond neither could ignore. But survival demanded focus, and the enemy's grip was tightening. The Chronovore fired, a disruptor beam grazing the skiff. Kai veered, the hull screaming under stress. They weren't out of the fight yet. The maintenance skiff screamed through the Elara meteor belt, its engines straining against the chaos of tumbling asteroids. Kai Morran hunched over the controls, his hybrid reflexes dodging 10-ton rocks that loomed like silent predators. The skiff's sensors wailed, mapping 1-200 potential collision paths in the 500,000-kilometer debris field. Serenya Voss braced in the gunner's seat, her plasma lance strapped beside her. She manned the pulse cannon, its barrel swiveling to track incoming threats. Her metallic skin caught the dim starlight filtering through the viewport, her golden eyes sharp with focus. Kai's wrist-mounted AI flickered, overwhelmed by the belt's density. He switched to manual control, banking hard to avoid a jagged asteroid spinning toward them. The skiff groaned, its hull pinging with micro-impacts. Serenya fired, the cannon's energy bolt shattering a nearby rock into glowing fragments. "Luminaris tradition binds us," she said, voice cutting through the hum of machinery. "Soul harmony demands union, but I choose my path." Her words carried defiance, her bioluminescence pulsing under stress. Time Hunter drones swarmed into view, their micro-warp engines flaring like fireflies. Ion nets crackled from their hulls, aimed to snare the skiff. Kai deployed a decoy flare, its heat signature luring half the swarm into a collision with a drifting boulder. Serenya leaned into the cannon, her enhanced reflexes sniping power cores with precision. 3 drones exploded in rapid succession, their wreckage spiraling into the void. The skiff lurched as an ion net grazed its flank, shorting a thruster. Kai's AI pinged a signal, a hidden Alliance outpost on a 3-kilometer-wide asteroid, 2,000 meters ahead. He pushed the engines, weaving through a gauntlet of debris. Serenya covered their rear, her cannon blasts lighting the belt in staccato bursts. The outpost came into view, a squat durasteel bunker embedded in the asteroid's surface. Its beacon pulsed faintly, promising weapons and a shuttle. Kai landed hard, the skiff skidding across the rocky terrain. They disembarked, boots crunching in low gravity. Inside, the outpost was a maze of crates and consoles. Kai hacked the main terminal, his AI slicing through encryption. Files loaded, marked with his father's name, Dr. Elias Morran. The Harmonic Pair project detailed genetic tweaks to create synchronized warriors tied to the soul harmony. Kai's pulse quickened. His own DNA was no accident. Serenya scanned the room, her lance ready. "Your father's work brought this war to us," she said, her glow flaring with anger. Alarms blared. Time Hunters had tracked them. A breaching charge detonated, blowing the outer hatch. Serenya moved like liquid metal, her lance carving through the first wave of attackers. Their chrono shields flickered, absorbing her initial strikes. She adjusted, targeting weak points with surgical precision, dropping 2 soldiers in seconds. Kai grabbed a pulse rifle from a crate, its weight heavier than his pistol. He fired, covering Serenya as she pushed the enemy back. The outpost reactor sat in the corner, a humming cylinder ripe for sabotage. Kai rigged it to overload, setting a 60-second timer. "We need to move," he shouted, dragging Serenya toward a docked short-range shuttle. She fired one last blast, collapsing the entry tunnel behind them. They boarded the shuttle, its engines coughing to life. Kai punched the controls, lifting off as the reactor detonated. A fireball bloomed, consuming the outpost and scattering the hunters. The shuttle cleared the asteroid, but a temporal shockwave hit, rippling from Elara's core. Space warped, stars blurring into streaks. Kai's AI flagged the Caelum Core's activation, its distortions spreading across a 10,000-kilometer radius. Serenya gripped her lance, her bioluminescence pulsing erratically. "The core's active. Amber's closer than we thought." Kai banked the shuttle, aiming for Elara's central station. The belt seemed alive, asteroids shifting under the temporal strain. His father's project haunted him. Engineered bonds, not fate. Serenya's defiance mirrored his own, but the resonance between them lingered, a silent pull. She caught his glance, her expression unreadable. "Focus, hybrid. We end this, not start it." Drones reappeared, their ion nets tightening the noose. Kai pushed the shuttle's engines, dodging a net that crackled past the hull. Serenya fired the shuttle's turrets, her shots methodical, each one a calculated kill. The chronovore loomed in the distance, its silhouette a predator in the starlight. Kai's AI calculated their odds, slim but not zero. The Caelum Core was their target, and Amber's forces were a wall they'd have to break. The shuttle shuddered, temporal distortions warping its frame. Kai held the course, his mind locked on the mission. Serenya's cannon roared, clearing a path. They were deep in the fight now, with no time to rest. The shuttle pierced Elara's turbulent atmosphere, hull glowing from re-entry friction. Kai Morran guided it toward a hidden access shaft, his wrist-mounted AI plotting a stealthy descent. Temporal distortions warped the viewports, stars streaking unnaturally. Serenya Voss gripped her plasma lance, her metallic skin reflecting the console lights. The Caelum Core's chamber lay below, a vast cylindrical fortress with 50-meter-thick walls of quantum alloy. Its hum vibrated through the shuttle, a low thrum promising power and peril. They landed in a maintenance bay, engines whining down. Kai hacked the bay doors, sealing them against pursuing drones. The air inside was thick, charged with ozone. They advanced through shadowed corridors, boots silent on grated floors. The core's temporal field kicked in, visual glitches lagging their movements by 0.3 seconds. Kai's steps felt delayed, like echoes in time. Serenya adapted faster, her Luminaris physiology resisting the warp. Ambra's elite guards patrolled the chamber entrance. Their chrono shields shimmered, impervious to conventional fire. Serenya charged, her lance thrusting in calculated arcs. Energy surged, overloading a guard's shield in a crackle of sparks. The soldier crumpled, armor smoking. Kai provided cover, his pulse rifle barking shots at exposed flanks. Another guard swung a temporal blade, its edge phasing through Serenya's parry. She twisted, countering with a lance sweep that severed the weapon's hilt. They breached the chamber, a cavernous space dominated by the 100-meter-tall core. Pulsing conduits snaked across its surface, glowing with contained energy. Kai rushed to a control panel, fingers flying over holographic keys. His AI interface pulling data. The core could ensnare a 10,000-kilometer radius in a time loop, repeating events indefinitely. Kai's eyes widened. Ambra aimed to trap Elara, seizing control of the Alliance's gateway. A hologram flickered to life. Ambra Vale appeared, her form tall and armored, eyes cold as a void. "Intruders," she said, voice echoing. "The Caelum Core is mine. With it, I'll dominate the galaxy's 300 colonized worlds. Time bends to my will." Her image gestured, revealing schematics of frozen planets, fleets immobilized in loops. Kai ignored her, diving deeper into the system. A coded message surfaced, encrypted with his father's signature. Dr. Elias Morin's voice crackled through his AI. "The soul harmony is engineered, son. Perfect tactical pairs to counter the time war." Kai froze. His bond with Serenya was no cosmic chance, but a genetic design for synergy in battle. Serenya dispatched the last guard, her lance retracting with a snap. She approached, bioluminescence flaring. "The ritual pulls at me," she admitted, voice strained. "Luminari's blood demands we bond now." Kai shook his head, focus locked on the panel. "Mission first. We stop Ambra, then deal with this." Their argument hung brief, cut by approaching footsteps. Time hunters deployed a swarm, 200 nanodrones, buzzing like angry insects. Their micro-lasers stitched the air, forcing Kai and Serenya to dive behind conduits. Kai's AI scanned vulnerabilities. He targeted the chamber's vents, overriding safeties. A vacuum barrier erupted, vents hissing as air rushed out. Drones faltered, pulled into the void, their tiny frames crumpling under pressure. Serenya fired her lance in bursts, picking off stragglers that breached the barrier. In the lull, they uncovered a blueprint hologram projected from the panel. It detailed the core's power matrix, highlighting a self-destruct sequence. Tied to the matrix's core, it required a precise overload to trigger. Kai memorized the steps, his engineering mind piecing the puzzle. Serenya stood guard, her lance humming. "We destroy it," she said. "End Amber's threat." Amber's hologram laughed. "Too late." The core activated, its hum rising to a roar. Temporal fields intensified, space folding. Elara shuddered, caught in a partial time loop repeating every 90 seconds. Kai and Serenya felt the shift, the chamber resetting around them. Guards reformed, drones respawned. Kai's AI glitched, struggling against the loop. They relived the breach, but memory held. Serenya's skin resisted the temporal wipe, her glow steady. "We fight through," she urged. Kai nodded, pulse rifle ready. The loop trapped them, but knowledge was their edge. Ambra's forces poured in anew, shields active. Serenya overloaded them again, her movements sharper with repetition. Kai hacked faster, aiming for the matrix. But Ambra's hologram reappeared, taunting. "You can't escape fate." The loop reset, pulling them back. Frustration built, but resolve hardened. The chamber's walls vibrated, quantum alloy straining under the core's power. Serenya parried a blade, her lance flashing. "Your father's design gives us strength." "Confront." Kai agreed silently, their sync evident in combat flow. Drones swarmed once more. He triggered the vents, clearing the air. The blueprint resurfaced, self-destruct tantalizingly close. As the 90 seconds ticked down, Ambra's activation sealed the loop tighter. Elara froze in repetition, inhabitants unaware. Kai and Serenya braced for the next cycle, minds linked by engineered harmony. The fight intensified, no pause in the temporal storm. The Caelum Core's chamber reset with a disorienting snap, pulling Kai Morran and Serenya Voss back to the moment of activation. 90 seconds ticked down anew. Kai blinked, the temporal loop gripping Elara like an iron fist. The vast cylinder loomed, its conduits pulsing with trapped energy. Guards reformed at their posts, drones hovered in formation. Kai's wrist-mounted AI glitched briefly, then stabilized. He memorized the pattern. First guard shifts left, drone swarm arcs right. "Again," he muttered, pulse rifle raised. Serenya moved beside him, her plasma lance extending. Her metallic skin shimmered, resisting the loop's degradation. Memories held firm for her, unlike Kai, whose recall blurred at the edges. "Your human mind fades," she said, voice low. "Lean on me." They charged, Kai anticipating the guard's lunge, dodging before it happened. His shot cracked the chrono shield, Serenya's lance finishing the job in a burst of energy. The loop repeated. Kai's awareness sharpened with each cycle. Enemy patterns etched into his mind. The swarm's dive at 20 seconds, the blade swing at 35. Serenya's glow steadied him, her retention bridging the gaps. They huddled behind a conduit during a brief lull. "The override terminal," Kai said, pointing 200 meters across the chamber. 12 Time Hunter sentinels guarded it, their shields interlocking like a fortress. Kai scavenged parts from a downed drone, circuits, power cells. He rigged a portable EMP, his fingers working fast in the repeating 90-second cycle. The device hummed in his palm, compact and lethal. "This disables their shield," he explained. Serenya nodded, her golden eyes flicking to the sentinels. She led the assault. Lance carving through a reinforced blast door. Metal screamed, sparks flying as the barrier crumpled. Kai followed, EMP ready. They pushed forward. Kai's AI crunched numbers. 17% chance to break the loop. Precise timing is needed for the overload surge. "Sync at 45 seconds, he said. Serenya cleaved a sentinel shield, her movements fluid. The EMP detonated, a silent pulse rippling out. Shields flickered and died, exposing the guards. Kai fired, dropping 2 in quick succession. Serenya's lance swept wide, energy arcs felling 3 more. Ambra's voice crackled over the core's comms. "Feudal hybrids, Elias Morin lives in an alternate timeline. Join him or perish here." Her taunt echoed, hinting at secrets. Kai's jaw tightened. His father's survival? A ploy, perhaps. Serenya pressed on, her bioluminescence flaring. "She lies to break us," she said, but doubt lingered. Another reset. They synchronized deeper, actions flowing like a rehearsed dance. Kai dodged a blade he knew was coming, countering with a rifle butt to the helmet. Serenya parried two attacks at once, her lance a blur. They cut through the lines, precision born of repetition. The terminal drew closer, its console glowing invitingly. Kai's AI updated odds, rising with each cycle. Serenya paused mid-stride in one loop, her lance lowering briefly. "The soul harmony terrifies me," she confessed. "It steals my identity, forces a bond I didn't choose." Her words fueled her charge, lance thrusting harder. Freedom drove her, pushing against the engineered pull. Kai felt it too, the resonance sinking their strikes. He covered her flank, pulse rounds stitching the air. Ambra taunted again. "Your father designed this, Kai. Harmonic pairs for the Time War. Embrace it." The comms buzzed, her hologram flickering. Kai ignored her, focusing on the sentinels. The EMP cleared a path once more, shields collapsing in a chain reaction. Serenya breached the final door, her lance overheating but holding. They sprinted the last meters, guards falling behind them. The terminal loomed. Kai interfaced with his AI, fingers on the keys. Overload sequence initiated. The core hummed louder, distortions intensifying. Serenya stood guard, lance sweeping away a last sentinel. "Now!" she urged. Kai hit enter. Energy surged, the matrix straining, but Ambra's laughter echoed. "Not yet." She triggered a deeper loop, resetting the chamber. 90 seconds snapped back. Kai and Serenya stood at the start again. Progress erased. Frustration boiled, but resolve hardened. Patterns were clearer now, their sync tighter. The loop ground on. Kai memorized more. A drone's weak spot at 15 seconds. A guard's feint at 50. Serenya's resistance anchored them. They assaulted again, EMP blasting shields. Lance and rifle worked in tandem, enemies falling faster. Ambra's hints nagged, alternate timeline, father's survival. Kai pushed it aside. Focus on the terminal. In the next cycle, they reached it sooner. Kai's AI calculated, odds at 25%. Serenya's fear turned to fury, her strikes lethal. "We break free," she declared. The overload teased success, but the reset hit. Repetition built expertise. They cut through with practiced ease, bodies moving as one. The resonance amplified their tactics, engineered or not. Ambra's taunts faded to background noise. The terminal beckoned. Finally, they touched it. Kai's hands flew, sequence locking. The core shuddered, but Ambra intervened, loop resetting sharply. Back to the start. Exhaustion crept in, but they pressed on. The fight was endless, yet victory edged closer in the temporal vise. The loop snapped back, chamber resetting in a blur. Kai Morran stood at the override terminal, fingers poised over holographic keys. His wrist-mounted AI hummed, decoding the encryption layer by layer. Symbols shifted, revealing the core's power matrix. Vulnerable to a feedback surge, it pulsed like an exposed nerve. Kai's eyes narrowed. This was their break. Serenya Voss guarded his flank, plasma lance sweeping in wide arcs. Waves of time hunters poured through breached doors, their boots thundering on the grated floor. She fired bursts, energy lancing out to overload shields. One hunter fell, then another. Her lance's reserves dipped to 15% capacity, coils glowing red-hot. "Hold them!" Kai shouted, his voice cutting through the din. Serenya nodded, stance unyielding. The Caelum Core's distortions ramped up, space warped, visual glitches stretching shadows. Microfractures spider-webbed Elara's crust, the planet groaning under strain. Seismic alerts flashed on Kai's AI, collapse imminent. The chamber vibrated, conduits sparking. Serenya dodged a chronoblade, countering with a thrust that pierced armor. "The planet's breaking," she warned. Kai kept typing, sweat beading on his brow. He pulled his father's research notes from the AI's storage. Dr. Elias Morin's equations scrolled across the screen. Kai calculated the surge. 1.2 terawatts needed to overload the matrix. Precise calibration, or the feedback would rebound. His hybrid mind crunched the numbers, adjusting for temporal flux. Got it, he muttered. The plan solidified. Serenya lunged at a hunter, disarming him in a fluid twist. She seized his chrono rifle, its barrel still warm. This will do. She reverse-engineered it on the spot, her luminaries tech-savvy shining. Wiring spliced, she fired a stabilizing beam. Their position anchored, the loop's pull weakened. Time steadied around them, glitches fading. Hunters hesitated, their patterns disrupted. Ambra Vale stepped from the shadows, no hologram this time. Tall, armored, she wielded a temporal blade, its edge phasing through reality. Enough games, she snarled, blade slicing air with a warp hum. It passed through Serenya's parry, grazing her armor. Serenya recoiled, bioluminescence flaring. Kai fired his pulse rifle, shots deflecting off her personal shield. Ambra advanced, blade thrusting. Kai stepped forward. My father built this, he said, voice steady. Elias Morin, the harmonic pair project. You stole his work. Ambra paused, eyes narrowing. He lives in my timeline. Join us. Her distraction bought seconds. Serenya slipped behind conduits, rewiring the core circuits. Her fingers moved fast, splicing lines to channel the surge. Serenya's glow synced with the core's resonance. Energy coursed through her, amplifying strength. Muscles tensed, lance strikes hitting harder. But the sync risked the ritual bond. Soul harmony pulling tighter. She gritted her teeth, focusing on the wires. Almost, she whispered. Kai kept Ambra talking. He'd never side with you. The pairs fight your war, not fuel it. Ambra laughed, blade swinging. Kai dodged, the edge warping space inches from his chest. Serenya completed the rewire, circuits humming in unison. Now, she shouted. They triggered the feedback surge. Energy built, 1.2 terawatts flooding the matrix. The core shuddered, distortions peaking. Hunters staggered, shields failing. The surge hit. Conduits exploded in cascades of light. Ambra's eyes widened. She activated a warp portal, a swirling vortex opening behind her. This isn't over, she spat, stepping through. The portal snapped shut, leaving echoes. The core destabilized, its hum turning to a scream. Walls cracked, quantum alloy buckling. Elara was freed from the loop, but the chamber collapsed around them. Debris rained down, floors tilting. Kai grabbed Serenya's arm. We need out. She nodded, lance retracting. They sprinted for an access hatch, the ground splitting beneath their feet. Seismic rumbles echoed, microfractures widening into chasms. Kai's AI projected a path, but falling girders blocked routes. Serenya blasted a beam, clearing rubble. Her amplified strength lifted a fallen beam, holding it for Kai to pass. The resonance throbbed between them, bond teetering on completion. They reached a service tunnel, narrow and shaking. Dust choked the air, lights flickering. Kai hacked a door, seals hissing open. Outside, Elara's surface quaked, but the time loop shattered. Inhabitants stirred, confusion spreading. The core's collapse accelerated. A final explosion rocked the chamber behind them. They tumbled into the tunnel, doors slamming shut. Stranded in the dim passage, debris sealing the way back. Kai checked his AI systems offline, but they were alive. Serenya leaned against the wall, glow fading. We did it, but Ambra escaped. Kai nodded, catching his breath. The planet stabilized above, but their fight wasn't done. The warp portal's trace lingered in his scans. Pursuit beckoned. The warp portal's vortex spat Kai Morran and Serenya Voss into a pocket dimension, air shimmering with fragmented time streams. Swirling eddies of past and future clashed, creating loops of repeating echoes. The ground shifted underfoot, a mosaic of fractured realities. Kai's wrist-mounted AI flickered, adapting to the unstable physics. Serenya gripped her plasma lance, its coils still hot from the core's collapse. Ambra's lair, she said, scanning the haze. Ambra Vale stood atop a raised platform, flanked by her 50-soldier elite guard. Their armor gleamed, chrono grenades clipped to belts, each capable of rewinding localized time by 5 seconds. Ambra's temporal blade hummed in her hand, phasing erratically. "You followed," she sneered. "Foolish." Her guards advanced, grenades priming with soft clicks. Serenya charged, her enhanced endurance kicking in. Rated for 48 hours of continuous combat, her Luminaris physiology shrugged off fatigue. She weaved through the first rank, lance thrusting in precise jabs. A guard hurled a grenade, time rewinding her strike. She adapted mid-loop, altering her angle to pierce his shield on the reset. 2 fell, armor crumpling. Kai covered her, pulse rifle barking shots that exploited the rewind's brief vulnerabilities. The guards pressed, grenades exploding in controlled bursts. Time fragments looped attacks, forcing Serenya to outlast the cycles. She parried a blade, countering with an energy burst that overloaded a grenade mid-throw. The explosion chained, taking out 3 soldiers in a temporal backlash. Kai dodged a rewind, his hybrid reflexes keeping pace. "Stabilizer," he muttered, spotting the 3-meter-wide device anchoring the dimension. It pulsed at the platform's base, a crystalline orb humming with energy. Kai sprinted toward it, hacking on the move. His AI interfaced wirelessly, slicing through encryption. Guards intercepted, grenades forcing him to relive dodges. He anticipated, rolling under a blade that hadn't swung yet. Serenya cleared his path, her lance a whirlwind. She endured a rewind barrage, body absorbing the strain without falter. Guards are tired, their tech is overheating. She outlasted them, dropping 5 in a relentless assault. Ambra descended, blade flashing. "The soul harmony," she revealed, voice echoing across streams. "Engineered by Elias, super soldiers for a time war across 7 galaxies. You're the prototype." Kai's hack progressed, AI reporting 60% complete. Serenya clashed with Ambra, lances meeting in sparks. "We reject it," Serenya declared, pushing back. "I choose my path. With him, on my terms." Her bioluminescence flared, rejecting the ritual's pull. Kai overloaded the stabilizer, energy spiking. The orb cracked, dimension trembling. Streams fractured further, ground splitting. Guards stumbled, rewinds failing as anchors weakened. Ambra roared, charging Serenya. The blade phased through her defense, but Serenya twisted, using the momentum to disarm her. Her lance pinned the temporal blade to a fracturing stream, the weapon dissolving in the warp. Chaos erupted. The dimension collapsed, realities folding inward. Guards vanished into voids, screams echoing. Kai triggered a final EMP from his AI, a wide pulse disabling Ambra's remaining tech. Her shield fizzled, armor locking. Serenya struck, lance butt cracking against Ambra's helmet. She crumpled, unconscious, temporal distortions pulling at her form. The implosion accelerated. Kai grabbed Serenya, AI guiding them to a stable stream. "Jump!" he commanded. They leaped into a vortex, the dimension folding behind them. Ambra's body tumbled into the void, lost to the collapse. They emerged on Elara's surface, dust settling from the core's destruction. The planet stabilized, skies clearing. Kai checked his AI. No trace of the pocket realm. Serenya retracted her lance, standing tall. "She's defeated," she said. Kai nodded. The war's edge blunted, but his father's shadow lingered. The time war's echoes faint but present. Elara's inhabitants stirred. Alliance signals incoming. The pair caught their breath. bond unspoken but chosen. Elara's surface steadied beneath Kai Morran and Serenya Voss, the dust from the imploding dimension settling like a fine mist. The planet's 1.5 million inhabitants emerged from shelters, confusion giving way to relief as temporal distortions faded. Alliance ships dotted the sky, their fleets arriving in formation to secure the battered world. Kai's wrist-mounted AI pinged with incoming signals, confirming the Caelum Core's destruction. Ambra Vale's capture was broadcast across channels, her unconscious form secured in a stasis pod aboard the lead cruiser. They made their way to a command outpost, debris crunching underfoot. Alliance commanders greeted them, holographic maps flickering in the air. Kai debriefed them methodically, detailing the Core's overload in Ambra's pocket realm. "The time loop's broken," he said, voice steady. "Her forces are scattered," Serenya added, tactical insights, her plasma lance slung across her back. The commanders nodded, faces etched with respect for the hybrid engineer and Luminaris warrior who had turned the tide. In a quiet moment amid the bustle, Serenya turned to Kai. Her golden eyes softened, bioluminescence pulsing gently. "The soul harmony," she began, voice low. "I reject the ritual. No forced bond." Kai met her gaze, his sharp features relaxed for the first time. "Agreed. We explore this on our terms." Their hands brushed, a spark of resonance lingering, but free of compulsion. Romance bloomed subtly, a shared glance promising futures beyond duty. Kai accessed a secure terminal, uncovering a final message from his father. Dr. Elias Morin's hologram appeared, faint but clear. "I'm alive, son, in an alternate timeline, beyond Alliance reach. The harmonic pair was to protect, not control." The recording ended, leaving hints of greater wars. Kai's mind whirled. His father, the missing scientist, survived in shadows. The commanders offered a new mission. "Chart the uncharted frontier," one said. 20 light-years out. Unknown sectors need mapping." Kai accepted, his growth evident. No longer the naive engineer arriving at Elara, he stood as a tactical leader, his human resilience forged in battle. Serenya joined him, her autonomy affirmed. They boarded the refitted Aetherion, its hull reinforced with salvage tech. The ship's prototype warp drive hummed, ready for deep space jumps. Serenya upgraded her plasma lance in the armory, integrating Time Hunter components. Output boosted by 30%, its coils gleamed brighter. "Better for what's ahead," she said, testing the balance. Kai took the pilot's seat, coordinates set. Serenya settled beside him, the cockpit bathed in console glow. "From doubt to this," Kai reflected, "I've learned humanity's strength lies in choice, not fate." Serenya smiled faintly. "And pride in breaking chains." The ship lifted off, engines roaring. They discussed their shared future, words weaving plans free from engineered destinies. The frontier beckoned, stars stretching into infinity. As the Aetherion approached the warp gate, Kai paused. "Destiny isn't set," he said, voice carrying the story's weight. "We rewrite it step by step. My father's project thought harmony was control, but it's a choice that binds us. From Elara's chaos, we emerge stronger, ready for whatever timelines throw our way. Humanity's edge, adaptability, resilience. We don't just survive, we thrive, turning engineered fates into our own stories." The gate activated, space folding. The ship vanished, galaxy stars fading into hopeful unknown.